And we're singing. We're singing. Time to talk. Beauty and the Bitch. Hi, BBs. Welcome back to Beauty and the Bitch. I'm Morgan.
And I'm the beauty.
Okay, whatever. Today we are here to talk about the Black Panther. You guys really thought I was going to go with like a racist thing
I
there?
wasn't sure. Did you see the fear in my eyeballs?
Yeah. No, but it's just literally.
The first time I realized we're going to talk about this.
Now, while it is deeply uncomfortable for two extremely white people and one vaguely Mexican person to talk about the Black Panther, that is our endeavor for today. So we have a special guest here for you guys. Mickey, do you want to give him an intro?
Oh, sure. Okay, he's been called the powerhouse of South Austin. He is well known in every movie theater and in the alleys behind
Oh, girl.
the movie
it's
theaters.
prevalent there.
His name is Dallas, and I'm super excited to have him on the show. Welcome, Dallas.
First time listener. Wait a minute, I got that.
Oh, shit.
Long time. Thanks for letting me.
So basically, we met Dallas in a dumpster.
It was a classy dumpster. I mean,
It was. It was large. It was airy on the
I don't
inside.
need a large dumpster. What are you saying?
You're very tall.
You are very tall, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go with tall.
Yeah, so, okay. So Dallas, we like to do some guest questions so our fans can get to know you a little bit and kind of like why you're here. So why did we ask you to be here? What's kind of your expertise?
So, my thing is that I have been a struggling filmmaker more than half my life, and I don't know that I've ever been fully successful, but I've never quit, so there's that. I love movies, I'm addicted to them, and I'm vaguely Mexican, so
I mean, you're like definitely Mexican, but like in that Austin, Texas kind of way.
What could be more Mexican than Dallas Norval?
I know, it's true, yeah.
Mi vida loca and all that.
All of that. So Dallas is a dear friend of ours, and he has a lot of movie knowledge, and he's kind of one of those people that we go to when we're like, what's with this shit? Or like, oh, did you see this cool thing? Because he will have all the answers.
With the understanding that's never being recorded at the time. Now, pressure to be like, I really don't feel like talking about that right now.
Yeah. No opinions.
No
Never seen
opinions.
it. Haven't heard of it. No, Dallas, you have, I think, some of the most wide-ranging film and movie knowledge of anyone I've ever met. And you...
Is that your way of saying I'm old?
No.
No. That's not my way of saying that. No. No, it's funny, though, because a conversation with you about film inevitably will be interrupted by, I don't know that. I haven't heard of that. Can you please give me some background on that? Because you're really into foreign film, right? You love classical film.
Yeah.
Classic
You
film.
have like a vast love. Like you're not like genre specific or like niche-y, but not like niche-y, but like
Yeah, the other
you don't
niche.
go into those niches. You know what I mean. So that's like a really powerful tool at your disposal that like can make you sound really smart when we've been drinking, and I like really appreciate that for you.
Outstanding. I
Outstanding.
didn't realize I was seen that way. Well, I like to pick a random film that like really foreign that I don't think you guys will ever know to discuss every time we get together. So
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Keep doing that. We love to feel
You make us
stupid.
smarter, yeah.
Okay, question number 2.
No.
How do you consume content? I.e., like, what's your method of taking in, like, movies, TV, whatever, and like, how do you do it?
So I'm a huge hoarder of DVDs and Blu-rays.
Ooh, vintage.
And I've switched to now buying them on iTunes, which I find to be quite easy. And I love director commentary. That was kind of like my initial film school, was anytime I could get a disc with director commentary, I felt I learned more than even I did in film school. Which I did. I guess I went to that. I should have said that before. But
He went to film school, ladies and
Oh
gentlemen.
my God. His beret fits him.
It does.
I cheated my way through a lot. I did some bad things in film school.
Sounds like college.
Yeah. But Hulu, Prime, Amazon Prime, Netflix, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah.
And I think that's really it right now. So
Do you like any of the original content that those networks put out? Like Hulu's got like The Handmaid's Tale. Amazon has like The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which I'm really into right now.
You know, I was into what's the Jeffrey Tambor thing?
Transparent. Yeah, you got me hooked on Transparent.
Yeah, I was into that, and then Jeffrey Tambor turned into a real scuzzbag.
Wait, what did he do in the show?
Oh no, in real life.
Oh, what did he do?
You didn't hear? Sexual assault.
We've had so many sexual predators lately. You forget Jeffrey Tambor is one.
Yeah.
I don't think I heard about him.
Yeah, he was basically really being offensive to most of the trans people, like hitting on them, rubbing up against them.
Oh no!
Yeah, and you don't think of the person who's involved with that show as being a disgusting pig, but there you have it.
Oh, that's upsetting.
It is upsetting, and he, the funny thing about him and that situation is that he didn't quit or he didn't get fired. He just quit. He said,
the show's just like done?
Well, no, they're gonna try to continue without him,
Oh my
but
God.
I can't imagine how they're gonna do that. I mean, maybe another season or something to finish it up.
Jesus.
And I guess they're gonna kill him on the kill her, I should say, kill Moira
I don't
on
know
the
how
show.
they do. I don't like. There's so many people being removed from so many shows. It's like,
know.
how many nuclear attacks? Oh, he was in Denver and it got hit by a nuclear bomb. Like, how do you remove people from the show?
Yeah, I do wonder what they're... I'm not caught up on House of Cards, like, at all. I quit on, like, season 2, but I wonder how they're going to get rid of Kevin Spacey and continue, right? Because he's, like, the president or something.
Yeah, I guess there's an assassination in the works.
Maybe.
Gotta be, right?
Yeah.
What other reason would the president, who is the whole point of the show?
Maybe they're like, he's dead. He shot himself in the foot, and it's what he deserves.
He bled to death.
Moving on. And Robin Wright gets up, and she's like, I never loved him anyways.
Yeah,
She just
well, that
moves
was obvious,
on.
yeah.
So, okay, very cool. Question number 3. What is your favorite cuss word? Or like,
Fuck.
okay, yeah.
Like, good choice.
Okay, natural.
Good choice.
It's so natural. Yeah.
I
it's
gotta
a
quit
good one.
using it at work. HR's really coming down on that stuff.
Uh-oh. I would be in trouble. Because I say it a lot.
Yes, I know. That's one of the big stresses of working for like a larger corporation type places. Girl, my
Having
dirty,
to watch
dirty
your
mouth.
language? Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
So, like, every time someone new starts at work, somebody inevitably tells them, like, one of my work friends is like, oh, yeah, Mo has a podcast or whatever. And I'm always like, yes, absolutely, please listen. Please understand that you think that you know me, but you don't.
No.
And it is not safe for work.
Yeah, I don't tell anybody at my work about podcasts. I
Yeah.
just don't want that kind of attention.
Yeah.
No, I totally. But you're going to tell them about this podcast, right, Dallas?
You better fucking tell
Of course,
them.
everyone will be listening to it.
You're like our number one fan. If you're not publicizing us, who will?
Beauty and the Butch.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's hilarious.
The name we have now fits. Beauty and the Butch. Unless you're the Butch one, Morgan.
No, I'm
thinking
buying
Beauty
that
and the Bitch and the
URL.
Bastard, but I would be Beauty in this.
Oh,
okay.
okay. I mean, I'm technically
Beauty and the Butch.
Butch, so we definitely could do that.
Technically, I am too.
Well, yeah.
Mom and Dad didn't get married on time.
Oh no, life is
A
busy.
late shotgun wedding.
Yeah.
It's been known
Like
to
I'm
happen.
7.
So you actually have, maybe unbeknownst to yourself, leaped ahead, Dallas, on this quiz. Because the next question was going to be the most important question. And it was going to be,
Pray tell, Mickey.
which of us is the beauty?
I am.
But you claimed it for
I
yourself.
claimed it already.
I'm so fucking sick of our guests taking the diplomatic route.
Not even one time did someone look me in the eye and say, Mick, you're the beauty.
Is all he ever wanted.
That's all I was
It was
looking
just
for.
his birthday.
You know what?
You're
Podcast
both
canceled.
beautiful and you have internal bitch and so you had to eat your
Oh.
Oh, okay, that's just,
That is
that's
true.
actually the truth.
And I actually just remembered that we didn't announce on our podcast that you just had a birthday.
I did. Oh my god. I turned 24.
Okay.
I'm very
Plus
excited
6.
to go out drinking for the first time.
That's
I never
21.
have. I know, but I waited because I'm
You waited just like I did for
a few
marriage.
extra years. Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
just to make sure I really wanted to drink.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So, yeah, it was fantastic. Actually, I spent my birthday with you two.
These
losers.
hookers. I mean us.
Yeah. And it was a fantastic birthday.
Ooh.
I'm 30 and I'm excited about it.
Not to jump ahead on plugs, but we ate dinner at Ossing Den, which is this Asian sort of fusion type restaurant down on East 6th Street. And girl,
It was good as
It
hell.
was
It
good.
was really
The
good.
food was like incredible.
And the prices are so much better than the place it replaced.
Yeah, really not. I mean, like definitely not like a casual like I want to spend $10 on dinner, but
Right.
but like a nice
Yeah,
like
we
going
were
out.
broke. Like we could keep
We had
electricity
broke.
on after the dinner.
Yeah,
So
but
that was really yummy.
not the gas, but
No,
you know, who cares about gas?
Well, there's always going to be choices, you know.
I mean, you know, and that's fine. That's just priorities.
That's life.
You know?
Okay, so we have made it through the guest questions. And like I said, we are here today to talk about The Black Panther, which is a Marvel movie, so it should be much better than anything DC puts out, right? So we've got that to look forward to.
Well, actually, once we get sort of deep in this, we're thigh deep in, I would love to ask you a question about Wonder Woman versus Black Panther. I have an important question. I'd love to hear your
They're real
opinions on.
similar, and they're like, well, that they're both like, you know, like non-typical. Anyways, yeah, that's a great question. We'll
They
get to
are
that.
similar. Both characters come from their own civilization.
yeah.
That's both magic
And
and
they're
tech, and they're
rulers.
both incredibly powerful and like. But okay, so
Yeah.
but to start off this whole conversation, and normally we don't start with games, but I've got a short true/false quiz for you guys.
Let's
okay?
do it.
All right. So this is about the powers of Black Panther. I called it Black Panther Power. Okay.
Oh, I like that.
That's really smart, right? Because
Yeah.
the Panthers. I put in
Fight the
parentheses.
power.
Yeah, you know. Well, you know, I'm socially connected. Okay. Black Panther, true or false, is one of the 8 most intelligent people in the Marvel universe. True or false?
True.
We're going to go with
I'm
true.
gonna go with true.
Mhm.
That is true.
Ah.
Marvel is actually in a comic, I forget which one now, but they ranked all the smartest people. So Black Panther, T'Challa, is right up there with like Reed Richards and Tony Stark. He's an inventor. He also, of course, is a ruler. So he has all of that diplomatic power and all of those connections. Even if he wasn't Black Panther, if he was like Batman and had no magical powers, he could still be one of the most kick-ass superheroes in the Marvel universe.
So, do you happen to know who they consider like the smartest person?
I think I know Reed Richards was 1 or 2, Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
He's definitely up there, and I know Tony Stark was in the top 3, but I can't remember who. Oh, and Bruce Banner is another one. He's always up
okay.
there.
Are they making a Mr. Fantastic thing?
You mean just about? Well, they're probably going to do another Fantastic Four because now Fox doesn't own it anymore, so they can actually do it. Yeah, because you know the last Fantastic Four franchise have been the shitbags, just horrible steaming piles of crap.
Yeah.
It's so sad because there's such a good comic. I used to love Fantastic Four.
I watched like the newest one with like Michael B. Jordan, which he's
We'll be
in
talking
this
about
film.
today.
But I felt like it started out really promisingly. Like I was like, oh, this isn't gonna be total bullshit. And then like 15 minutes in, I was like, now they done fucked it up. They had like a solid start and they had like a good cast and they just did nothing with it. It was just a total shit story.
Well, I wish people, okay, we'll get back to this game, but I wish people would stop trying to tell the Fantastic Four story, how they all got their powers. Because doesn't that movie follow that origin story once again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I don't want to see them going up in space no more. We've seen that. It's just like with Spider-Man or Batman. Stop showing me the origin story because...
And they quit
everyone
with
knows
Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Homecoming was fucking dope.
it was way better.
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, next up. True or false? After consuming the heart-shaped herb and becoming Black Panther, T'Challa has superhuman senses. He can track via smell and see into the ultraviolet and infrared spectrums.
I'm gonna say true.
Yeah,
That's
we
just
think it's
too much
true.
detail. I don't
It's
believe
too
you
much
made that
detail.
up.
No, but I
You're
just
not that
want you to
smart.
know it is very true. It's amazing. So Black Panther can differentiate between 1,000 different scents. So he's just standing there.
That's
he can track people
insane.
across the savannah. Yeah. So he can do all kinds of, his senses are beyond. So I know that Batman always gets the greatest detective whatever, and he's got a great mind and whatever. But actually, if you want someone to be tracked,
You need Black Panther.
you need Black Panther.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can just do it. He don't need no Hixie doos. Nothing hanging from his belt.
Well,
I don't need that. Okay, true or false? Between his natural prowess and magical abilities, Black Panther can lift over 1,600 pounds.
I'm going to say no.
I'm gonna say no.
But we're going to go with false.
Okay, were you all looking at
False.
my notes?
No.
You know everything. Yes, it is false. He can lift about 800 pounds. But
That's
he's-
pretty good.
He's
good.
strong. I mean, it's slightly more
Like
than I
maybe
can
on a
do.
good day, 1,600 if he lifts with his knees.
Yeah, exactly. If someone would just teach him how to lift, you know.
Girl.
Maybe
Yeah.
you just go to the gym. It's smart, but
That's what, when Black Panther walks on screen, I think, man, he needs to go to the gym. It's the
He's
first thing I
very
think.
weak. You know,
Yeah.
it was an odd choice.
Flabby.
They were like such a
Yeah.
lazy-looking character. But they went with good acting.
Yeah, and he can act, so, it's something. Okay, true or false? The Black Panther suit is made of vibranium, which robs all bullets or any other projectiles of their momentum. It can also go invisible and contains killer claws that can slice through almost any metal.
That sounds like...
It sounds like true, but you know what? See, vibranium is the only thing I remember from the Black Panther comic books, but I don't think it was his suit, so I think he's trying to trick us.
Okay.
I'm going to say false.
We're going to say false.
Wow. This is an example of a man leading a woman into a bad situation.
Oh, no.
But you guys, that's all true.
That's
Real truth. Yeah.
For some reason, I thought that like his suit was made of like adamantium type. Does it
See,
kind
I
of
thought
have that?
vibranium was like, it's kind of adamantium-ish.
It's like, well, vibranium, we'll get a bit more into it when we talk a little bit later about Wakanda, because that's the whole basis of Wakandan,
Which is
society.
where he lives.
Mhm, that's his country. They rules. But essentially, vibranium, it came from space. It fell on a meteorite into Wakanda. And that's where all of the world's
Isn't
vibranium
Captain
comes
America's
from.
shield made of
Yes.
vibranium? Okay.
Yes, and that's the
That's-
only
that's-
other thing
that's the only
in the
other-
Marvel Universe, to my
Okay.
knowledge, that's made of vibranium.
Okay.
So could his claws cut through Captain America's shield?
No, because that's vibranium on vibranium.
Oh,
That's
okay.
I'm not going to say that. It's a vibranium crime. Wow, I couldn't
Whoa.
say that.
That
that was way, yeah. Too much hot chocolate.
It's basically a hate crime.
It is a hate crime.
Vibranium crime.
Yeah. And it's really sad hate crime, too, because Captain America's shield is the only vibranium that ever left the country. So please don't attack it. It's trying to make its own life.
But did they steal it, or did somebody give it to
No,
them?
during World War II, because Wakanda's so isolationist, they were like, we're not going to help with the Nazis, but here, take this small chunk of vibranium and make something cool.
Is
How
Wakanda
did they make
supposed
something out
to...
of it? I'm sorry.
You-
That's a whole. We don't need to go down. Never mind. Move on.
That's funny that they're like, have this gift, but good luck. So, also during World War II, that's when Wonder Woman... No, that was World War One.
They were in both, I think. Wonder Woman did stuff in both.
So listen, Wonder Woman, her little island, the mascara or whatever, it's in our universe, but it's hidden.
Yeah.
So what's the deal with like Wakanda?
Oh.
Is it like it's like a known place? Because he shows up in like the Avengers and he's just like a diplomat, so it must be just like a regular ass country.
Mm-hmm.
But they're special and magical?
Well, how about, okay, so I've got one more true-false question, and then I do have a secret history of Wakanda.
Okay.
So how about, table those questions just
Okay.
a little bit, and we'll come back to them, because I can answer that question, and I think, at least, it is a fascinating answer.
You want to move there?
Fascinating. Let's do one more true-false.
Okay.
Okay, true or false? The hero, that is Black Panther, is named after the Black Panther Party. True or false?
I did read that he was originally in a Fantastic Four comic in 1966, so that would make sense.
So, are we saying is the question about whether the authors named him after that?
Oh wait, or did
inside
they?
the story he's taken the name
The
because
authors.
I'm just around Panthers all the time and they're cool.
To my knowledge, they both have the same answer, so yes.
Black Panthers, like the animal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
Black
No.
Panther Party. Is he named after the Black Panther Party?
Oh, really?
Or
in
did-
in the comic used it?
Well, it's a...
Well, we've just moved on to
So, like,
questioning you for the
Is
answer.
he named after the party, or did the party name themselves after him?
Yes.
Which
Or none.
one?
Okay, I'll just tell you.
Yeah, because we were beating this one into the ground.
I'm gonna go with the
Sometimes you see
answer.
your friend struggling and you jump in with them. You dive in. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just let the water sweep them past. It depends on the friend.
What is I don't know.
Yeah. So
For 200.
Black Panther, the hero, came out actually 3 months before the founding of the Black Panther Party, the American political and civil rights party, right? And so often people think that they are connected, but the original creators, that is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, say that that was a complete coincidence.
Wow.
And they also briefly renamed him. I forget what. It was something horrible. It was like Smudgy Leopard or something. It was something horrible.
Mac.
Yeah, essentially. It was like, yeah, he was the Burger King king or whatever. But Not for long. And then they changed it back to Black Panther.
So could the party have named themselves after the Black Panther?
Probably not, because actually the first, the Fantastic Four number 52, which was the one in 1966 where Black Panther first was a character, it actually came out just a month before.
So they had already been...
Because it had already been
yeah.
made. So it probably is just like a weird coincidence.
That's crazy.
And Stan Lee's badass. He would have sued him if they did.
Yeah, right. Oh my god, yeah. That sounds like a fun lawsuit. Yeah, let's sue the Black Panthers. Let's see. All right. Well, you guys did pretty okay.
No, we didn't.
No, you did fine.
Okay.
You did fine.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it depends on how high your standards
we are.
are.
Pretty good.
Okay, well, let's not get a big head about it.
We're
I mean, you didn't do perfect.
We got every single one
I don't remember
correct.
us mistaking any of them.
Never. We don't. All we do is win.
You're right. That's facts. Uh-huh.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
like really, really intelligent. I'm like a super smart guy.
Oh, are you? And not crazy at all,
Not crazy
right?
at all. I'm stable.
A very stable?
A very stable genius. Yes, you
That's who
are.
I is.
Oh, Anthony made a good joke about that, my friend. He was
You don't
posted
have
on
friends.
Twitter. I
Stop
do.
lying.
And he was like, how can he expect us to believe he's a very stable genius? We never seen him around horses. So true.
Wait, I fronted. I don't get that.
Stables.
Stable.
Oh, a stable genius. I thought it was a play on the word genius. and
It's
I was
funnier
like, that's
when you
horse
explain the
terminology.
joke. That's what I found anyway.
You know what?
I'm just trying to help Morgan out so people understand her jokes.
First of all, that was Anthony's joke. And second of all, you're the one who didn't get it. You
Podcast
burnt.
canceled.
You canceled.
Okay, so now I don't want to like monopolize. So do you guys want to talk about the comic for a bit, and then we can return to Secret History of Wakanda,
Okay.
or do you want to leap in? Because I'm fine to do that, but
Well, okay, so let's just talk about Black Panther as a character. So
Okay.
my initial understanding of him was that he was like a Batman type character,
Mhm.
but it turns out that also his society has like secret witchy powers and stuff, which was like
Mm.
somehow new information for me. Like I feel like, and I don't know why, but I don't know why he's been marginalized, but like I just don't know that much about him, you know?
I don't either. Like I think maybe a cartoon somewhere around the 90s, and he wasn't. It's not his cartoon. He was like a sub character, and they're like, "Oh, look, and he's got witch doctors with him," and it was like really kind of offensive. And so I was like, "This can't be. Like, this is not a real hero, is it? What is going on here?"
You know, it's interesting because Black Panther, as a child, was one of my favorite superheroes because I like Fantastic Four, and he worked with them a lot, like early in the day.
But
know,
in
the
like comics and stuff?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and you know, when he originally came in, he was actually an antagonist. He, the Fantastic Four came to Wakanda on like a diplomatic visit, and then he trapped them all to prove that he was a greater like hero than them or whatever. And so his first appearance he was not a positive person. But then they all get out, and he says, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna let you go because I'm actually not evil," right? And he bounced into Fantastic Four a few times. And then, probably in the 70s, I think, he became an Avenger for a while. So that was like the big time.
Which is where the Marvel franchise is going now, right? Because
Yes.
he was featured in the last Avengers movie. Now he's getting his own movie, and he'll be in the next one.
He'll be in the Infinity Gauntlet.
Infinity War or whatever.
War.
Yeah.
So he'll be a big player probably in that because he was in the comics a relatively big player.
Which, you know what? I mean, we got fucking Black Widow. Okay, great. We got a lady. But, like, we really need some diversity up in the Marvel universe, you know?
Well, and you know, this is, I'll get back to the history of Black Panther in a second, but this is fascinating because we never had, since, what's this, Blade? What was the Wesley Snipes Blade?
Blade.
That was the last time we've had a superhero movie in which a black man was the protagonist. I mean, we've had Falcon, and we've had Don Cheadle plays he's like Iron Man, but silver.
Yeah.
What's that called? It's just
yeah.
Iron Man.
Wait, who's...
Buddy and substitute stand-in?
Yes.
Who's
Yeah,
that?
second
Who's
command.
the guy that's he was in like Ant-Man and he's got the wings?
That's Falcon.
That's
Yeah.
Falcon.
Yeah,
See, I don't even know
love
his
that
fucking
guy.
name.
But see, they're all like they're secondary characters. They're all heroes in their own right. But this is and even Storm. Like Storm's never had a movie called Storm.
Mm-mm.
I guess you could make an argument for Halle Berry's Catwoman, but
We won't.
no one should ever bring
No
up
one
that
should.
disaster. So anyway, so it's exciting because this is the first black protagonist we have, but it took Black Panther a long time to get traction, even in comics. it was only after his Avengers run that he got his own comic and started to tell his own stories. And frankly, I mean, those stories were still written by, as straight white men for the bulk of his history.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of offensive stuff. In the beginning, it was a lot of like witch doctor bullshit and like, just stereotypes about Africa. But they did an interesting thing, kind of in a Civil War. But I think they're going to do it more so in the upcoming movie, in which all of that stereotypical bullshit is just what they want the world to see. And underneath, they actually are themselves, like in their hidden part of their city. And that's where they really become sort of like the leaders of human civilization. Because they have the most technically advanced civilization
crazy.
The world, in the Marvel Universe. Yeah. I feel like I had more about...
You had like some secret history of Black Panther stuff you were talking about?
Yeah, I could go into... Oh, just very briefly though, because I brought up Storm. I don't know if you guys know this.
Oh.
Storm and T'Challa do get married.
What?
In the comics. Uh-huh. And for their honeymoon, they go on a diplomatic world tour.
Ooh.
So, like, they are such badass baller leaders that even on their honeymoon, they don't go to Hawaii to fuck. They literally go to all the tiny European countries.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they're so amazing.
Oh my God. Excellence, they sound like such a cute couple.
I know. They're essentially Barack and Michelle.
It's just they're perfect in every way.
You know what? I want to watch Barack and Michelle fight every once in a while. I don't want to.
Oh, that's fair.
Okay, let me go ahead and say this. Like, when you say, oh, they're the smartest culture, and oh, they've got all the technology, and oh, he's the genius, like, it sounds like it could be that whole thing like, oh, I'm a white writer, and I'm going to write a black character, so I'm just going to make him the best at everything, because...
So I don't fuck it up.
So I don't sound like I'm being, but I think you lose some realism there. I think maybe he shouldn't be the best at everything. It's kind of like Superman's a difficult hero, because... Oh, you can't hurt me. I can do anything. I can, you can hit me with a bomb. I'll be fine. And so it's difficult to like make those characters, really suffer or show emotion. And I don't know. I think that's super valid. I think you have to. I think it's only in the last couple, maybe last decade, just to be safe, where really Black Panther has started to become a fully fleshed character. Right. But I would argue, even in the very first moment we saw him, he was a complex character even then, right? Because he was an antagonist.
In the Fantastic Four.
And he's often been an antagonist because, frankly, he is a proud monarch in his own right, and he doesn't suffer fools lightly. And he is... Can you, does the word chauvinistic, can that go to mean that you think you're better than other cultures? Well, he's a bit of a xenophobe.
Yeah,
I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
So for example, okay, let's get into the secret history of Wakanda.
He's like the French.
He is kind of like the French, yeah. Except no baguettes. I've never seen him eat a baguette. So, okay, tell me what you know about Wakanda. Basic information about Wakanda, the country that Black Panther rules. And if all you know is that he rules it, that's okay.
They're like kind of magical. Do they have like a monarchy? Because didn't he inherit his rule from his father?
They sure enough do.
What else?
I feel like they stole it for Coming to America. I thought this was just, oh wow, they made a sequel to Coming to America. It's just really badass.
Oh my God. I love Coming to America. That movie is hilarious.
And honestly, I thought he came from Wakanda. I mean, it sounds... I don't remember where...
Honestly, now that you've said that, I agree.
I can't remember where he came from.
Definitely.
Could have been Wakanda.
Yeah.
Like, the poor part. So Black Panther's on the right side of Wakanda.
Yeah. They're the marginalized few.
And it makes sense. Okay, so you guys got like the biggest stuff about Wakanda. So the thing about where Wakanda's located, so we're talking about like how does it stay hidden? Okay, well, once again, like, white privilege / apathy about Africa. Wakanda has moved all over Eastern Africa. I mean, it's been here, there, and everywhere. Most recently, in the Marvel movies, like in Civil War, we got to see a map of where Wakanda is. And it is, supposedly, in this universe at least, based around Lake Turkana in Eastern Africa. This is just north of Lake Victoria. So you can see it's like at the confluence of South Sudan, Uganda, Kenya, and Ethiopia.
Oh, hold it closer to the microphone so the listeners can see.
Oh, yeah, listeners. Look hard now.
You guys can hit our Instagram to see a picture of that map.
Oh, yeah.
Bam.
Ding, ding. So that's where it currently is.
Right.
As far as how it stays hidden, it's because they're so technologically advanced, they keep everything packed away underground.
Mhm.
And the face that they show is that stereotypical / poverty-stricken face. But in fact, there's little to no poverty in Wakanda, and they are super happy and super healthy because of this ancient meteorite packed full of vibranium that fell into the middle of their country. They've been working with vibranium for, I don't know, millennia.
And they use it for only their own purposes besides the
Yes.
shield.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. So, like, Black Panther suits may have vibranium, but I'm sure we'll see tons of instances in the movies because vibranium's a metal that can be used. I think you even hear it in the trailer, maybe. It can be used for almost anything. It has the highest tensile strength. It can conduct or not conduct. Like, it can do anything. It's like a god particle, really.
Right.
And so it's funny, you know, Captain
I always
America.
thought if I wanted a bulletproof vest, it would be like vibranium, adamantium, kind of like 2 layers.
Oh,
A
yeah,
little bit, with a
double
little,
up.
maybe a little mithril on top from Lord of the Rings. Just add
Sprinkle.
some,
You need some shine.
You need some shine, girl. Give me that shiny shirt. Okay, so... Oh, and I love that you mentioned both gods and tech, because tech is something they've built themselves, right, out of vibranium. But you're right. The Panther goddess is Bast from Egyptian mythology, though I'm sure slightly changed. But yeah, Bast is his goddess, and she gives the Black Panther, which is the king / protector of the country, certain skills, like his advanced senses, for example. And he eats the heart-shaped herb, which is the sacred food that only royalty can eat.
Oh. So was his dad the Black Panther before him?
Sure enough was.
Okay.
Well, at least as far as I know, T'Chaka.
Oh,
I think
that's
he was.
right. I forgot about that.
And I think T'Chaka actually fought with or against Captain America in World War II.
So there's only... is it like Highlander? There can only be one Black Panther. So, like, he's the only one in this, like, immensely powerful, wealthy kingdom that has, like, these superpowers?
Yes. And that actually is perfect. That's a perfect sort of segue into the second layer, the dimly understood history. So, Black Panther is an autocratic monarch, okay? This monarchy has been going back as far as Wakandan culture has been around, right? And it's kind of funny because it's certainly not a democratic society. It's extremely isolationist. So, for example, in World War II, people were dying all around them. They didn't do anything to help except give out that fist-sized chunk of vibranium. Like, they really do. And they really are convinced that they are the highest level of human society. They think, and perhaps they are correct, that they are just better than the rest of the world.
Like the French.
Like the French, exactly. And they and you know, no one can touch them, and they really don't feel bothered to reach out and help other people.
Interesting.
Now, that's something that they're
That's
changing.
not
though.
like the French at all.
No, yeah. Right. We're secretly talking about the French. Yeah. Just a little bit of shade. But that might be changing in the updated universe, because that's the whole thing, right? Like in Black Panther, he wants to go out and kind of open up Wakanda to the rest of the world. And some of the other characters in the movie don't want him to do that. So that I think that is the main tension, actually, of this movie, beyond the, like, supervillains, right? But I think, you know, there's an organization you guys may have heard of. It's called the International Monarchist League.
No, that sounds familiar.
Well, you may have heard about it in NPR, because there's a story about it in the Times this last week. But it's essentially a group of people who believe that countries are more successful and happier if there's a monarch. So it's a present day group that is fighting to install monarchs in every country.
Dude, that's fucked up.
Isn't it crazy? Yeah.
Like, how do you choose the monarchs? Like, are we just gonna, like, put a crown on Oprah and everyone's just gonna agree?
I mean, I'm down. Are we doing that? Let's do it!
Doesn't Trump think he's a monarch?
I mean,
Well, he's behaving.
Well, he's a really stable genius.
So we can trust him.
Okay.
But I mean,
I forgot how smart he tells us he is. So, yeah.
He's really, really, really smart.
But it's funny, you know, because T'Challa is kind of like, if Trump really was everything he says he is.
He could fly.
Yeah, right? He'd be able to fly and go invisible. Like, T'Challa can do all those things. And he's frankly just as iron-fisted a monarch. So, if we want to talk about, like, is he a complex character? There's some complexity right there. Like, he rules his people well, and they're very happy, but they don't have a say. It's almost as if North Korea was a successful country.
We are very successful.
I know, and I'm sorry, and I know you're in the Olympics now, North Korea, and I support you.
I heard that. South Korea was like, okay, girl.
Yeah, well, they're only sending 2 figure skaters. That's all they have.
Well, that's all they got, girl. Everyone else is dead.
Oh, so sad. But essentially, I mean, that's what Wakanda is. It's just as isolationist, except it's just successful. Right? Okay, but are you all ready for this secret history?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the last level, okay? So reasons why Black Panther and Wakanda are super exciting is because they're really good examples of Afrofuturistic movements. So Afrofuturism is essentially like the stories of the African diaspora, but with science fiction and fantasy elements.
Yeah, which is really hot right now, especially in the sci-fi genre. There's like N.K. Jemisin, a lot of other people are really harvesting that.
Well, because there's a lot there to harvest because it's been ignored for, well, not ignored, but mostly ignored.
Mostly untapped as far as
years.
General pop culture goes.
Exactly. So there's a lot there. And I mean, this was back in 1966. That wasn't even a movement, you know, when they invented Black Panther and Wakanda. So that's really exciting. And, you know, Wakanda is very exciting because it is the only, it's fictional, obviously, but it's the only country in Africa that has never been conquered. So it is completely untouched by Western imperialism. And that's, you know, in a country in Africa that is, well, it's so rare that it doesn't exist. Yeah, you know. So I think that's something that's really positive about it. It may be too positive, maybe not super shaded, but it's just lovely to see a place that is untouched by all of those things. And I like, too, that...
I wonder if they're going to keep all this in the movie.
I think they are. I really think they are because, well, primarily because of the director. Right. And because he is unafraid to approach race issues and big socio-political movements and stuff. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he might also be unafraid to go ahead and change it and make it more realistic and give them a more, he comes from he doesn't necessarily come from a troubled background, but he's more in link with, the history of, Black America, and he might think that this superhero needs to have a background that shows he suffered a little bit or something. So they probably wouldn't change him to not make him the leader, but they might show that, they've had to fight to defend who they are, which is kind of the Black experience in America. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'll be exciting to see. Well, we do have, so Secret History of Wakanda done. Woo! We do have, Killmonger, who is, he's played by Michael B. Jordan. And Killmonger, I think he's going to be slightly different in the movie than he is in the comics, but he grew up in America. So he is going to bring in that specific, at least to the U.S., sort of African-American experience. But you're right, I don't know. I mean, his father did die in the last movie. And I know that not everyone in Wakanda is supportive of the Black Panther, so he's going to have some Sturm und Drang there, but I don't know if they're gonna...
There's a lot of stuff that looks like super modern, like in the trailer. Like everything's like, it almost looks like Abu Dhabi or something. Like everything is like fucking fancy looking. And it's like Tony Stark on crack is what the trailer looks like.
Well, I think, based on what we know about the Black Panther's suit and the way, did you guys see in the trailer, it explodes out?
Yeah.
It's not like he has to put it on piece by piece like that, and it goes... Tony Stark has a suit that does that too.
He does.
But the Black Panther, it looks different, and I think probably it's a nicer... I bet his suit is nicer, because in the comics, Black Panther ends up being able to go into space, and we were talking about how vibranium knocks back momentum.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Silver Surfer, this is not going to be in the movie, they're not going to touch this, but in the comics, Silver Surfer attacks him with his cosmic, he has the power cosmic that he shoots out, and the Black Panther suit just takes it all in until the Silver Surfer is like a dead battery.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and that's cosmic power. So, yeah, he's mad powerful.
It's crazy. Plus, he looks fly as hell.
Yeah. So he's got that accent you just want to take a bath in.
Yeah. Oh my God. He's gorgeous. Let's talk about the casting of the movie. So, I literally have no idea what any of the characters are or, what their purpose is. But, there's so many. It's like an all-star cast, right? Like, you already said Michael B. Jordan. Lupita Nyong'o's in there.
Denai Guerrero.
Oh, yeah, from The Walking Dead.
Michonne.
Lots of fantastic faces that we're familiar with.
Sterling K. Brown.
Oh, so
Angela Bassett.
fabulous.
Forrest Whitaker in this movie? Yeah. Okay, well, do you want to start with Chadwick Boseman, T'Challa?
Yes.
Anything good to say about him?
It's so hot.
He is stunningly beautiful.
It's like insane. Like, where did he get his eyeballs? Like, they're from like
I
fucking
don't
outer
know.
space. It's like
Yeah.
crazy.
Have you seen him in anything before? Have you seen?
I
his
looked
movies?
up his background. And there's nothing he's been in that I would have seen. I
Me
saw
neither.
nothing.
I mean,
Well, no, I was just going to say, like, I was shocked because I just kind of just assumed Michael B. Jordan would be playing Black Panther because he was in Creed and he was in Fruitvale. And he's kind of amazing. And
And he's like really hot right now, like as far as actors
yeah.
go.
So it was kind of a stunner when I went and like watched the trailer, and I'm like, hey, he's not the star. No.
No, and he's not, I mean, I guess debatably, he's not even the prime antagonist. I know they focus on him the most, but I have a feeling that Killmonger, by the way, I love Michael B. Jordan, when they do that scarification on his chest, you know that scene I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Seal, come to bed. I think that Killmonger is actually going to be the lesser villain because Claw, played by Andy Serkis, is in this, and he is Black Panther's villain. He's the Joker to Black Panther's Batman, debatably, but so I know he's going to be the big bad. He's got to be. And I wonder if Michael B. Jordan, they might not switch his character, Killmonger's character, around to make him like a reluctant ally. I think that might be.
Yeah, I could see that.
We could see. Well, let's see. What's his name? Chadwick Boseman, he was Jackie Robinson in 42. 41? Yeah.
42.
42.
Is it 42?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I wrote down, actually.
Okay.
I'm not going to stand beside it. I don't know. And then,
somewhere in the 40s.
Yeah.
45.
And then James Brown in Get On Up as well, which I didn't see either of those, but that's a huge range right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. And now I feel like an idiot because he was in nothing I saw, but he was in a couple of things I should have seen.
Well, I mean, look. You were too busy watching foreign films from 1942 filmed on location in Taiwan or something.
Yeah. that wasn't that.
So Martin Freeman, sorry, I'm looking at the cast list. Martin Freeman's in this movie. I saw him in the trailer, but like, who the hell is Everett K. Ross? Like, what is his role?
So it's funny. So Everett K. Ross is an American ambassador. He's the American ambassador to Wakanda in the comics. I don't know if I know he was in Civil War as well because I just rewatched that and I saw him.
Oh, he was?
Yes, but to be honest, it wasn't there long, and I may have been drunk. I'm not certain what he was doing, to be honest. I did see his face.
Okay.
So he's been in it.
I haven't seen that one again since I saw it in theaters.
It was really good. On the
It was
rewatch,
really
I liked
good.
it so much more.
Nice.
But anyway, so he becomes a great friend to T'Challa. So I'm hoping that he doesn't end up being a villain.
Right.
I know we see him talking to Claw at some point. I don't know what that's about. But actually, he becomes regent of Wakanda for a while. Black Panther's out of the picture. Other people who might take over are out. And so old white man, what's his name? Everett K. Ross becomes regent of Wakanda and rules the country for like 6 months for his friend. So, yeah, they become really close, but I don't think they know each other yet in this. I'm so excited, though. I love him.
Oh, he's great. So is Andy Serkis, like, actually as a person in this movie?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
No prosthetics on his face. He can actually act for the first time in a
minute, yeah.
But this is the first big
he had
blockbuster.
that role as Smeagol in the
Oh, that's true. We got to see his face in
Yeah.
the last Lord of the Rings, yeah. But this is the first time that he's going to get, like, mad money for his actual mug. Yeah.
I bet that feels so good for him, right? Like,
I think he does he still get a skin tight suit, and does he get to like walk around kind of crazily?
I mean, I didn't see him in no skin tight suit, but we did get to see his hand open up.
Oh,
he had that
'cause it has a
Professor. Yeah, what's that? Professor Gadget. He had that Professor Gadget moment where his hand goes and the thing comes out.
oh,
So Claw does like sonic sound stuff is his forte. So I assume he's going to shoot a sound cannon or do something sonic. But he really is. Claw is fascinating because he is the face of Western imperialism. In the comics, he's going to be that in the movie. He wants to get into Wakanda to steal their vibranium. He doesn't care about anything but pillaging the land, right? And he also is Dutch. So that also fits into that whole, because there are lots of Dutch colonies.
So he is Dutch and Martin Freeman's American. And that's what we're working with.
And that's who we got.
Daniel Kaluuya is in this from Get Out. Also, I just started watching Black Mirror, and he was in the second episode of season 1.
Dallas is big fan of Black Mirror.
He's so fantastic as an actor, so I don't know what his role is.
I forgot he was in that. It's been so long since I've seen it. But that was a remarkable episode.
Yeah, he's such a fantastic actor. Basically, everyone in this cast is a badass.
Yeah, there's no one in this cast I think looks like a weak link. By the way, Daniel Kaluuya plays W'Kabi, who's T'Challa's second in command.
Oh, his Biffer? Are they Biffers?
Yeah, they're like Biffers, yeah.
And what is Lupita's role?
Lupita Nyong'o. So first of all, do you know who she plays in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Oh, did you just see it or did you know already?
No, I knew.
Everyone knew but me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Maz Katana? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Okay. So, funnily enough, Andy Serkis was able to give her tips on doing the...
facial stuff.
Because he spent so much time, and plus he was playing... What's his name? Emperor Snooki?
Snoke,
whatever. It is what it is. Lupita is, she is playing, one of the guard members. Now, in the comics, this might be a little bit of a spoiler, but again, I don't...
They get together, briefly?
No, she's obsessed with him, and she stalks him and becomes a villainess named
Ooh.
Malice. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, I hope that happens.
I like that.
I think it's really fair.
That's something that an actress of her range could have.
She could be a really good villain.
Because she's so, beautiful and petite, and she looks so young. To see her be a villain, I think, would be extremely powerful.
And what about Denai? Do you know anything about her character?
Yeah, she is... So she's part of the Dora Milaje, which are his personal bodyguards. And I think she's, the good one. She's, another advisor, essentially. Okay. Yeah, but I don't really know. She doesn't have... She's got, storyline in the comics, but it's so convoluted and happens over, 40 years that I don't know what, if anything. She might just be a character, to be honest. She looks fucking great, though.
That's all she knows how to do.
With that bald head and that gold. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, living. Winston Duke is playing M'Baku. Do y'all know him from anything? Because I didn't recognize him. I did not. I looked him up and literally didn't know any.
I'm looking at his filmography, but nothing that Law and Order's on here twice.
Girl, I'd take it. If I was on there twice, I'd put it down twice. Well, in the comics, M'Baku is a fascinating character as far as updating for the world that we live in today. Right. He's a villain. He's the leader of another tribe. It's like a secondary lesser tribe in Wakanda, and they worship the white ape. It's like a rare thing. And they get special powers from their god too. But in the comics, his name is Man Ape. Oh. Mm-mm. Girl, they just cut that off. They were like, no, baby. This director, Ryan Coogler, he looked at it and he was like, no. Not for today. We're not doing that. So he just goes by his name, M'Baku, but he also has magic powers. And he's very conservative, his tribe. They're not going to want to leave Wakanda. They're going to want to cut things off. And they don't even like technology. So they're very I would call them backwards, frankly.
What about Sterling K. Brown's character? Do you know?
He's a question mark. He's not from the comics.
Okay, so he's a newbie.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And we know that he's someone from T'Challa's past, but that's literally all we know. Do you watch This Is Us? Do you guys watch
that? But everyone else does. That show, people love it.
I want to start it, because it seems like it might be shameless, family drama, but I can still get
it looks hella sad.
It does look sad. Yeah.
He just won a Golden Globe and he won an Emmy, and that show's been nominated for lots of stuff, so it's probably worth a watch.
And he's fine as hell.
Oh, girl, yes, horrible. He is. He's a really eloquent speaker. I feel like I could listen to him say anything all day,
What is it on? Netflix?
ABC. I think you can watch season 1 on Netflix.
Or Hulu. If it's on ABC,
yeah.
then
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about... Okay, how do y'all feel about Forrest Whitaker being in this movie?
To be honest, I'm not Forrest Whitaker. Like,
you're not.
when I heard he was going to be in Rogue One, I was like, now this is some bullshit. He talks so slow, and those movies are already so long, but thank God they killed him quickly. You know
Oh
what I
my
mean?
god, they went back and killed him. I hate Rogue One. It sucks so much.
Oh, really?
You know he was in the movie all the way to the final battle, and the reshoots, they took him out.
Really?
Yes. There's a couple articles, if you look them up, it's like 42 things that were in the original trailer that never made the film.
Oh, damn.
Forrest Whitaker running in the battle scene, no robot fucking leg. They're like, it's bad rewrites that turn. That's why I hate that movie. 27. It's another podcast. We can do that. But
I really liked Rogue One.
oh my god, you're so wrong about that. So I think I figured out who the
so
beauty
many-
is.
Yay!
You know
All
what?
I had to do was sit here and say
That's
nothing.
fine. That's fine. So you think if Forrest Whitaker had been in the movie the whole time, that somehow could have improved
I think it would have had a point. I mean, 27 minutes in and we've repeated the same startup like, okay, we're going to tell you again. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. Let's go over here. Oh, let's do a flashback for no goddamn reason. Just so you can like, I'm touching my necklace. Mom gave that to me. That's why we did the flashback to show that it's like Star Wars Mad Libs. It's like fucking crazy.
Oh my god. I love the way you just described it, and I love how much you hate that. That's amazing.
I hate it so much. Like, I've written pages. Like, I prepared for this show, but I've prepared pages just so I can fight with people. Just so I can fight with people at Rogue
That's
One.
incredible. You be yourself,
I just didn't
Dallas.
want to ruin the Christmas party. That's why I didn't fight with her.
Ah.
Because, you guys are giving us free stuff. It's wrong to, like, go into
That's fair.
local hosts.
That's
Yeah.
totally fair. Totally fair. I literally can't. Oh, Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, yeah.
So he's in this movie.
He plays an advisor.
There's a reason he's in this movie. And it might be a good segue into
Director
Ryan
talk.
Coogler.
Let's do it. Let's talk about
Let's talk
him.
director. So Ryan Coogler is the kind of director that really pisses off us wannabe filmmakers who failed and we keep trying and like, we sort of get something good because he seemed to come out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason he seemed to come out of nowhere for me is Fruitvale Station was his big thing. And it was so popular, won so many awards, and it was so well-rounded, it seemed like homework to go watch it. Like, I was just like, oh. And for me, also, I thought it was Fruitville instead of Fruitvale. And this has no significance whatsoever, except for some reason I thought it was a French-directed film. And I was like, what is a Frenchman doing directing in like this urban story? And I was like, I just don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch it. It's And I was like, I really confused it with I thought it was, for some reason, the directors of the animation, The Triplets of Belleville.
Oh, yeah. Aaron loves that. We watched that one in college several times.
Yeah. And
Weirdly.
Amy made
That's
me
strange.
watch it. And I was just like, oh, it's so entertaining. This is so good. I love it when the French animate. So I literally avoided it until, Creed came out. And I saw that trailer and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, holy moly.
Did he direct Creed?
He directed Creed. And that's when I went back and I was like, oh, he's not a Frenchman at all. Well, actually, I thought he was a black Frenchman. So I still avoided it for most of the year. But I was like, it's on there. And I was like, everyone's crying at Creed. Let me watch his first effort. And I was blown away. It was really impressive.
It's won something like 33 different awards or something. I was
The
looking on
Fruitvale?
IMDb, Fruitvale Station, yeah. I mean, just ridiculous. It was just the
I've never
baby
even
of every
heard
festival.
of that.
So how it happened was, let's step back. So for me, someone who their first outing with Fruitvale Station is so impressive. I'm like, where the fuck did he come from? What did he do before? Was he working in ads? Did he No. He was a football player in college. No interest in writing. No interest in...
Oh, Michael B. Jordan's in that one too.
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah,
Creed,
yeah, that's where it
Fruitvale,
came
and...
from.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's literally in college. He's a football player. He's at let me see. I have his scholastic career sort of here just so let's see. He's from Oakland, California. He went to college at St. Mary's and he was playing football for them. And it was literally a writing class. And he talked about his first writing class where the professor just gets up and he's sitting in the front row, and the professor's just like, football is the most heinous and stupidest thing in the world, and if you're involved with that, you're part of what's wrong with the society, and blah, 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 blah. And that was his introduction to the class. And then later, he got called to her office, and she wanted to talk to him about the paper he turned in. And she was telling him, well, this is actually really good. Like, your writing is exceptional. And he was kind of a little confused. He's like, well, what am I doing here? And she's like, well, what do you plan on doing with your life? What are your goals exactly? And he's like, oh, I want to be a doctor. And she's like, why do you want to be a doctor? And his story is like, I come from a place where if you say you want to be a doctor, like that's, everyone just pats you on the back and says, oh, that's awesome. He's like, no one ever asked me why. He's like, because I'm good at science, I'm good at math, I want to give something back to my community. And she literally said, she's like, this story, like when I read it, I pictured myself there. And, for a first story in this class, it's really amazing. Like, you have a lot of skill, a lot of talent. Have you considered maybe you could give back in a different way? Like, you could tell stories. You could go to Hollywood and maybe write screenplays. And he's like, am I in trouble? And she's like, no, you're not in trouble. She's like, oh, okay. It's like, so are we done here? And, he basically just wants to get out of there. And he literally says he was so confused. It was flattering. It was weird. It was uncomfortable. And so he's got it in his head. He's like, well, I've never even seen a screenplay. So he went and bought Pulp Fiction, some DVD with special features that actually had the screenplay sitting there on the ROM. And he's like, that was his very first screenplay he saw. And it kind of put the bug in his head, and he's been writing them ever since. And so, but it still didn't explain how this guy, like he does, he switches schools and he ends up at USC Cinematic Arts School, and he makes a lot of films there. And I'm still like, how do you get there? His films won a lot of awards. So I found all of his early films except one. Locks is his very first film. And I made the mistake of watching this at work, kind of just sort of like, oh, I'll just, I'm researching, blah, blah, blah. And I realized there's no talking in it. He's got the power of a filmmaker to just let the story unfold, which so many filmmakers don't have. So many filmmakers have to vomit out the plot in the first 5 seconds. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I'm like. Rogue One, you know what I'm talking about. So shady. So, but we're following this character, and I'm gonna blow the spoiler here because most people aren't gonna see it. But so it's this guy, and he's got dreads. It's a black guy. He's kind of in a pretty urban setting, kind of low income. And as he's walking, you see all the people on the street all have dreads. People being arrested have dreads. People, just talking to one another have dreads. Everyone in his community seems to have these dreads. And he stops and he looks at a big advertisement when it shows someone with dreads. And you're like, what is the theme here? You get it. It's like, is this like I'm trying to figure out, is this like trying to look white? Is it like everyone's doing the same thing? Is it an individual type thing? And it builds up to him going into the barbershop. And I think it's always powerful when any actor cuts their hair off on camera. I think, especially when someone has full flowing dreads. So it's almost impossible for that not to be sort of powerful and challenging. So sure enough, the barber takes all the dreads off, drops them to the ground, shaves his head clean. He walks out, a little self-conscious. He throws his hood back on. And he's walking, and he's walking past all the people still, and nobody can sort of see that he's got dreads. And he finally makes it home. And he walks in his house, and you see this little drawing, this hand drawing, and it says, "Hair like my brother." His little brother is in the next room, opens the door. His little brother's like fighting cancer, got chemo, fully bald.
Oh.
Boom! I was just like, oh my god, this is so sad. I got it. Like, and it was like so many different powerful themes. He lets you, which is the sign of a great filmmaker. It's like you're toying with people's mind. You're letting their imagination take you places. That's a Tarantino move. When the ear got cut off, he didn't show it. You felt it. You imagined it. it was more powerful because you imagined it, and that's what he does in this one short. Now, I will say...
Uh-oh, here it comes.
I will say, 2 years later, he made a film called Sculptor. It's bad. It's really bad. He's working with 2 white actors, and I think he was out of his element. He was shooting on video and not film, which that's difficult to do. Like, when you first transition from film to video, I've done it, and there's certain things you have to do a little bit differently, and he broke about every rule in that, so it takes you out. Not to mention the kid actors are sucky. But still, like, he won the Jack Nicholson Award of Achievement in Directing, so apparently that's not tough to get. I should have gone after that years ago.
So, but this will be like his 3rd sort of blockbuster type film?
And this is what happened. So, apparently, once he started winning all these different awards, like, he won everything, like, let's see, Tribeca, Outstanding Independent Short. And then
for that
Jack
short
Nicholson.
that you were talking about?
For another one in between Locks and that, he did one called Fig, which I really find odd. Like, they were all in 2011. I think they got released differently in different time because the better ones seemed to come up earlier, and that didn't seem right. But basically, I think he got to meet a lot of people and Forrest Whitaker.
Oh, like at the awards?
He met Forrest Whitaker at one of these awards. He starts talking to Forrest Whitaker. They start hitting it off, and Forrest Whitaker is the one who kind of brought him in to direct this thing. And Forrest Whitaker flat out said, he said, you know, I've let me just get the quotes. I don't screw it up too much hot chocolate.
Hot chocolate will do that too. So.
But literally, he was like, my God, I have so many notes. He said, I've worked with a number of truly unique voices, true auteurs, Whitaker said, and I can tell when I'm talking to one. And I think it's actually, well, let me back up my bad joke to something else. Before he even got this film, before he met Whitaker, he had already somehow met Stallone at one of these things.
That's how he got Creed?
He was pitching Creed to Stallone before Fruitvale Station. Wow. And he was like, look, I have this great idea. I know how to revive this character. And, you know, and he pitches his idea to Stallone. And Stallone's like, he's like, you know, you're a kid. You haven't done anything. I'm really flattered, but blew him off a little bit. Just kind of like, you know, not like Forrest Whitaker. I have the secret thing. Like, if you look at a picture of Forrest Whitaker young and him, like, it could be, it could be his daddy. Like Forrest Whitaker just saw himself, I think. But seriously, like, so he makes this film, Fruitvale Station, and the history of Fruitvale was basically it went to I know it went to what's the Colorado Film Festival?
Sundance?
Sundance, yes. Went to Sundance. It won. Then it got representation by this guy who molested a whole lot of women in Hollywood. His company.
Oh, could be any of them.
Weinstein. And then they went to Cannes, and he won Best New Filmmaker.
Damn.
And so he's won all these awards. Now he's getting offers left and right. Can do anything he wants. He wants to still make Rocky. And the reason, I'm going to try and tell this straight now. So his dad got really, really sick and started debilitating. And I haven't looked at the stat to see if his dad's actually dead. Everyone's implying that his dad died in all these interviews. But while his dad was, running down and like losing vitality, and he's watching his dad kind of day to day just become less of the man he was, his dad watched Rocky endlessly on a loop. And basically, Stallone was like, he's like, I couldn't tell if this kid was just messing with me, but you know, he's like, he said it finally clicked. He's making this for his dad. It's a love letter to his dad. And when you watch that movie, it is exactly that, because it's the best thing Stallone's ever done.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah. I didn't see the whole thing. I walked in, like, I missed a little bit of the beginning, but I watched most of it with Aaron, and it was incredible. And I don't give a shit about boxing movies. Like, it's one of those things I'm like, nah, whatever, but it was
I quit caring about Rocky after, like, he fought the big Russian. I didn't even care about that movie, but
that was Rocky 4, right?
Jesus, I don't know.
I think it was Rocky 4. I could be wrong. I have no idea. I was really a guess, but
was that 4? That was 3.
Well,
that was 3.
that was
Oh, okay.
So Fruitvale Station has a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Creed has a 95%, and this is Black Panther's going to be his next
Right.
big budget film.
And that's just the thing that, like, so the other side of this coin is that it's kind of a bad joke, but like when he talks, I'm like, holy shit, he sounds like a football player.
Yeah.
But he sounds like a football player with an incredible mind too. Like he's like sitting there listening to him talk about, and then I went and watched some Truffaut movies, and I watched all the, it's just the way he threw himself methodically into researching film was amazing. And the reason he picked the foreign films that I seem to like so much, his exact logic was, if I can relate to these stories, that's a whole entire world of stories I can tell. And it was just genius. And you can just tell by the way he makes these films. I mean, he's actually telling real emotional stories, and he allows the story to move along at its own pace, it's just unheard of. Like,
well, but that brings up a big question for me too. Now, I'm going to be straight up. I haven't seen Creed or Fruitvale Station. Right. I do want to go back and watch them. Honestly, both of them I was put off by the synopses because I don't know his work. And so I was like, girl, this is too real life. Both of these are too gritty for me. Like, I'm not into this life.
And that's the thing about Fruitvale Station is that it's actually a really beautiful tale. And it's basically just a human being's life. And it's like, it's some good, it's some bad. It's not overly urban. It's just a guy who's getting through his day. And like you can tell he's not a perfect human being, but he's got a heart, and it's
played by Michael B. Jordan.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Remarkably played by him. Like I actually confused him at first. I thought he was a writer, director, actor. And I thought that's who he was. And I was like, oh, they're two different guys. And he's not as good looking as Michael B. Jordan. I'd want Michael B. Jordan to be like
if I could pick a face
version of me. Yeah, I'd like him to be like hot and sexy and yeah.
Well, so let me ask you though, because this is definitely the first Marvel movie that he's done, and it's the first time. Well, I guess Rocky has its own strictures that you have to work with him, but making a superhero Marvel movie, you're working within this really, I don't know, almost claustrophobic universe. There's a lot you can't do, a lot you can't bring in. Do you foresee any issues with this director bringing his special auteur vision to the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
I think he could only expand the Marvel Universe because I honestly think, and it's like I watch a lot of old blaxploitation films, and you watch them now, and it feels like cheesy, blah, blah, blah. But back then, these movies were great. They were actual heroes. They're not heroes in the sense that they were doing good. They were always pimps or this or that. And it wasn't like high profile, but it was the first representation Black people had in Hollywood. And they were behind it. It was exciting for them. I think that he's got enough of a voice that he can go into the Marvel Universe and he can say, no, we're going to do it this way. And I don't think you can stop him too much. Like, you're going to have to work with him because I think he's going to allow you to correct some of the mistakes you've made in Black culture in the comic book. And he's not going to bring them over. Just like you were saying about the one character that's kind of racist. We're not going to do that. It's like, I think he's going to add a validity to it. And not in that cheesy sense where, oh, we got to get a Black director because we just have to do that. It's the right thing to do. He's a really, really talented director who knows how to tell a powerful story. And I think they've struck gold by getting him.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be an amazing film. And he's literally said, I think this is going to be my most personal film. So he's going to put some interesting struggles in there. He's going to tell some real human stories.
Well, and we haven't even mentioned, because we skipped over Shuri, who's T'Challa's younger sister. But this is as far as empowering women, this is a very lady-heavy movie as well, right? Because his bodyguards are all women, so those are badass ladies. Shuri, his little sister, actually is the one who created all of the suits both Black Panther's suit and also it looks like Killmonger's suit. It looks the exact same except it's gold, so I'm assuming she had that one too. So she's also like an insane genius. So it's like, as far as representation in the movie, not only are there tons of Black and African actors, but there's also a shit ton of women who play very powerful and empowered roles. So I'm super excited for this movie. I think it's going to be one of the best Marvel movies.
I think the only real downside to this movie being made is the fact that he's not directing Creed 2 now. Like, I literally was like, because I watched it literally 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, crying in my bed at like 2 a.m. Oh, Amy, you gotta wake up and watch me cry.
Watch me cry.
So good. You gotta watch the ending.
She said, I did that last night. I'm not doing that again
every
tonight.
night, Dallas. I'm getting tired of
That
it.
sounds accurate.
Yeah.
But in the frightening thing was that maybe a month ago, they announced Stallone was going to direct the sequel.
Oh,
and,
no.
Right. Horrible news, right? And I was like, I was like trying to work on I'm going to do my Stallone impersonation. I'm like, I'll talk Ryan Coogler, everything. And see, I go into Vinnie Barbarino. So it's terrible. Like, it's better when I'm not a little.
It's a line to tread.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then, literally, while I'm sitting there working up a routine on, like, how Stallone is just so horrible and how he shouldn't be directing it, they took it away from him, like, and he stepped down. So I think he graciously understood that he wasn't really connecting with the young folks today, and I thought it was a horrible idea to, replace the guy who gave him his closest Oscar nod to, with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Michael B. Jordan going to be in Creed 2?
He is.
Wow, I feel like they should just wait for Coogler then. Just wait until he's free.
I feel
right?
like that too.
Why
wouldn't you let him come back and
Yeah.
Interesting. And he's going to have like
Unless
his
he
choice
doesn't
of
want-
projects again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. And that's another thing. Like, a lot of filmmaker criticism, like, when you go and you look at the history of filmmakers, a lot of them are criticized for they've made the same career over and over again throughout their career. And he has stepped in so many different worlds in his first 3 major films that, like, I think the sky's the limit for him. I'm dying to see what he does next.
I am
Man,
too.
we're gonna definitely be following his career. Now I'm like so pumped for Black Panther.
I am too.
That's all so exciting. Mick, do you know when the movie comes out?
It does. I do. It does come out.
It does.
It comes out February 16th.
Ooh, so
Mhm.
soon.
Yeah, I think this is going live just maybe 3-4 days.
Right before,
Oh.
yeah.
So y'all buy your tickets now.
Yes, or hopefully you bought them last month because they're
Buy
probably
one
not
for us.
available.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Okay, can I ask like a quick wrap-up
Oh,
question?
yes.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Morgan. So earlier I was teasing, I had a question about Wonder Woman versus Black
Oh,
Panther.
yes.
Okay, so I just went, now of course we haven't seen Black Panther yet, but we've researched a lot. 50 years from now, do you think that Wonder Woman or Black Panther is going to be regarded as more revolutionary? Because they're both huge in the world of superhero film.
Probably actually Black Panther because
it's
he's
being
still
done
a
by
man.
Marvel. And no one will remember anything from the DC universe years from now.
That's actually what you said is
super
true.
valid.
But also that thing I said is a little bit true. Because because even though Wonder Woman was so great, we've already talked about how they downplayed the marketing for it, even though it's literally the only good thing that DC's ever done ever. I mean, recently, yeah. I mean, as far as all this, it's just fucking shit. And then of course she went on to be in the Justice League, which nobody liked either, and I still haven't seen. So like maybe her reputation will even continue to get more and more tarnished. And even though she's the best person in the Justice League, I think she's getting a sequel, but like how well that will do will also depend, But for Black Panther, he's going to go on to be in the Avengers movies, and we know those are going to go well, Like we trust Marvel, we trust in them. So probably Black Panther, I would think.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean, I hadn't thought of that Black Panther has the whole MCU behind it, those movies are regarded by almost everyone as being way better than the DCEU. So that's a good point. We're going to want to forget about the DC movies, I'm afraid.
But Wonder Woman was fantastic.
It was, but it's like you
was.
you lay down with dogs, you wake up with Morgans.
Yeah.
Something like that. I forget how that's.
I do feel bad for her. I feel like I wish Wonder Woman could stand alone and she didn't have to be a part of that other shit because it was so good.
I know.
It really was. I went in with no expectations because, it's a DC film.
Right?
Like,
we had just come off of Superman versus Batman, whatever that was. It was
It's a good way to kill an hour, 2 hours, and 2.5 hours.
17 hours.
17 hours. And the only thing I disliked about it was when it went into those moments where it's like, oh, I'm going to throw a tank and we're going to fly it here and punch in the air and a big explosion. And it's like, but for most of it, it was just an amazing film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, that's the only thing I'm worried about with Black Panther is that he's going to get lost. I'm afraid that the story is going to get lost in all that bullshit blockbuster
There's
stuff,
a lot of action
stuff
in the trailer.
There is, which does frighten me. But action can be done well. It can be done well, but, I'm just afraid. The reason I asked that question about Coogler is because it's just, once you get all these fucking Hollywood industry people together, they can take something genius and make it into utterly trite shit. And they've done it over and over. But I feel hopeful. I do feel hopeful, but that's my only worry.
I guess we'll all have to wait until February 16th to find out. Definitely let us know what you thought about Black Panther. And you can let us know via our social media where we're at B&B Cast. You can find us on Facebook at B&B Cast or Beauty and the Bitch. Drop us a line. And while you guys are listening to this podcast, don't forget to rate it and share it with your friends. Mickey, would you like to plug your personal things and what's making you happy this week?
Oh shit, my personal things. Let me turn my pages very loudly.
He's going to memorize this one day.
No, I never will.
He's at Bit of Bella on WordPress.
bitofbella.wordpress.com.
That's where he lives.
Thank you, my queen bee. What else? Oh, my plug.
Yes.
Okay, so I've plugged this before, but I'm plugging again, and not out of laziness, but because something's changed. There is a Netflix show called Haters Back Off.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it?
No, but I remember.
It's so fucking good. Well, it's been canceled after the second season because Morgan didn't fucking watch it.
No, it's that girl, the YouTube's Miranda Sings. I'm into her.
Miranda Sings is actually, I think she's like a 32-year-old woman. She plays this extreme character on YouTube. She's a YouTube star first. And then she used that to then start a TV show about that character. Her mom... Do you remember the blonde lady from The American Office who has all the cats?
Yeah.
That actress plays her mom.
Angela.
Yes, Angela. And she is phenomenally funny. It's such a good show, and it's so sad. And also, the Miranda Sings character, not to make it too dark or real, but very much a character living with Asperger's or autism. Or they never say that, but she's homeschooled. She doesn't understand people. She's very insular.
Yes.
And I just think it's really powerful. There are a lot of beautiful movies about people whose minds work differently right now. But I think that if you're looking for something that is funny and touching, it's something you should definitely check out.
Nice.
Haters Back Off.
All right. And Dallas, do you want to plug any of your personal stuff?
I do. So something I've spent the last year and a half writing. I started writing a television series. I've got 3 episodes down. It's a really dark comedy, and in the meantime, I've also written 15 comedy skits, really absurdist stuff. And in doing so, I was like, I'm much funnier on paper than I am right here.
You're much funny. You're just funny all the time.
You're much funny.
You know what? Fuck you and fuck you.
But so... as boring as it sounds, I read about comedy. I started I gotta see what comedians are doing today, and I got this great book on comedy, and I read about this comedian writer about Megan Amran. Mm-hmm. Her Twitter page is remarkable, and I literally might be the only person in the world who learned about a Twitter feed from a book and went
That's old school, buddy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And basically, her story is she got into comedy because she started writing a joke a day as practice.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, holy shit, that's pretty awesome. But she's also, attractive. She's a woman. She made a lot of friends. In college, you make your contacts. And there's a limited amount of time you have to use those. And if you don't, you lose them like me. And all your contacts are dead or alcoholics have left the business. But she had the right contacts and she started getting jobs. And she's been writing comedy. And her new series is The Good Place. And I fucking love it. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So while I'm not stalking her Twitter feed, which I literally do, if you watch almost two of her posts a day, you'll find me responding, trying to be funny next to her.
Aww.
And I've been doing a joke a day. Don't follow my Twitter because it is not funny yet.
Oh,
I need another year of a joke a day. But,
okay.
But that's mostly what I'm doing. And the other thing that I find really, really interesting that I have to, I'm a huge fan of Admiral Nimitz. I go to the Nimitz Museum in Fredericksburg all the time. Sometimes get teary. I cry every day, so it's not a big deal.
Plus, you can drink on the streets there.
Exactly. So I'm already I'm already crying. But so I got the biography written by E.B. Potter, and he was the leading naval historian at the United States Naval Academy from the 40s to the 70s. So this book written about Admiral Nimitz from 1977. I thought it was gonna be homework. It's really good. It's well written. So, and it's huge. It's like a thick book. It's like Stephen King's The Stand. It's like but it's all World War II, and it's remarkable. So these are the two things: comedy and World War II naval history.
That's I love it.
That's what I'm doing.
That's what makes you a well-rounded person.
Right there. Is that a fat joke? I knew you would slip one in before the end.
You're old and you're brown.
Yeah, done. Don't forget, you can follow our podcast blog, and we have our RSS feed up on there at bnbcast.wordpress.com. And if you want to hit me up, I'm on Instagram at Morgandolph. And in the works, I've got a new website where I've migrated all of my writings, and of course, linking out to Beauty and the Bitch, and a literary YouTube gig that I'm trying to get up right now. So more on that later. But you can find me at morganizedmess.com. That's like organized, but like if your name is Morgan, which it is, and then you're a mess like me. Morganizedmess.com. Check me out there. And my pop culture plug this week, something I'm loving that everyone else is loving too, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon. Amy Sherman Palladino, all of the Gilmore Girls, and Bunheads, but whatever. Mostly the Gilmore Girls. So they have a new show out about a fast-talking brunette who's Jewish, so that's not really different for them, but it's new and it's fresh and it's amazing. Rachel Brosnahan, who plays the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, just won a Golden Globe for Best Actress, and the show won for Best Comedy. So it's
I didn't realize
hell yeah. So it's like, people are coming around to it, and I think you guys will like it, so check it out on Amazon.
Look, Megan Amram liked one of my tweets.
Oh, damn!
I tell you this. You stalk her every day. And...
it's going to pay off.
Comedy writers. They got nothing better to do.
So don't forget to stalk her on Twitter, and we can't wait to see you next time. Dallas, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was so much fun. I really
I
learned a lot and drank a lot, too. So.
We'll do it again.
Let's do it again.
All right. Until next time, babies.
Bye, babies.
Bye-bye.
Bye, babies.
Oh, wait. That's the old theme song.
Do you have a home? Beauty in the Bitch. You look. Beauty in the Bitch. Beauty in the Bitch. Bitch.
Bye.